What is up, and welcome back to another episode of the Girl Games Podcast. I'm Amberp,
I'm Alexis Adams.
and we are coming to you guys with part 2 of our monthly Q&A. First off, we'll do a quick check-in. Alexis, how you doing?
Good. Let's see. Since we have talked last time, my coach increased my cardio by 10 minutes a day and decreased my food by carbs on both days. So now my breakfast is the same. I have oats, apple, egg whites, egg in meal one. And then on training days, I have carbs pre and post workout and intra carbs. And then 3 protein veg meals and 2 protein veg meals and then fats in my last meal. Did I tell you about, and then on my off days, I have carbs in my first meal, fats in my last meal, protein veg the rest. Did I tell you about my shenanigans with the Ninja?
No.
Ninja Creamy? Did I say that on here? Okay. So when I went to Virginia for Brandy's baby shower, I had the creamy packed up so I could fly back with it to Florida.
Okay.
Well, I put it in my carry-on because I was worried about weight. And then they considered the blade a weapon, which it's not even sharp. It's just because it's titled a blade, I guess, because I argued with them. So I was like, I can't cut anyone with it. It's not sharp. It just works because it moves so fast. Like, I can't make it go that fast without a plug-in. But they wouldn't let me have it in my carry-on, and I did not have time to go back and check it before getting on my plane. Because the airport in Roanoke is tiny. TSA doesn't even open until 4:30. My flight was at 5:07. So, like, there was no time for, I had time to go through TSA and all of that, but there was no time to, rewind and do it again. Mm-hmm. So, he wouldn't let me take the blade out of the lid. I had to forfeit the whole piece. So, if you have a Ninja Creamy, there's, the lid, and then the blade clicks in, and it comes out so you can wash it. But I asked him if he could just take the blade and give me the lid, and he said no. So I had to give him the blade and lid, and I took the rest of it with me. So I had, the outer cup and the machine. But on Amazon, you can get the lid or the blade, but you can't get the lid. So I was like, okay, I'll just order official pieces from Ninja, and then it's not aftermarket, and it's good. So as soon as I get on the plane, they're still boarding, and I order it. Well, I paid attention because there's the Ninja Creamy and the Ninja Deluxe. Mm-hmm. So I paid attention to the right lid. I didn't think to pay attention to the right blade. So didn't know that. So Ninja also doesn't have options for shipping. It's one standard flat rate, takes a week to come. So then I'm annoyed because I order it Sunday and it says that once it ships, it's going to be delivered that following Monday. So 7 business days later. Yep. Well, I'm stalking, tracking all week, and it's out for delivery on Saturday. So I make my creamies, put them in the freezer, so excited. It's out for delivery. It comes. I open that thing up, put my creamy on the counter so it can start thawing. The blade is the deluxe, and the lid is the right one. So the blade is literally 1/100th of an inch too long, so it won't click in. So it doesn't work. So then I'm like, I'm so mad. Mostly at myself because if I had checked the bag, I wouldn't have had to wait an additional week, you know? And I ordered all this from Ninja, a blade that I didn't need. So then I go on Amazon. Luckily in Florida, it's you can get next day for most stuff. Mm-hmm. So I ordered 2 blades just in case. So it finally came yesterday, and then I got to have my creamy yesterday.
Wow. Dang.
which, like, thankfully I have it now because, like, before it wasn't as bad, but, like, the creamy helps, y'all, when you have protein meals only, like protein veg, you like the veg you can easily get carried away with and cause bloat and stuff if you try to use that for volume. So like the creamy is kind of a hack for volume because one, it takes you a while to eat it because it's so cold. And two, like the more you whip it, the more fluffy it gets and the more you kind of quote unquote have to eat. It's air,
Yeah.
but it helps with the volume thing. So finally, thankfully, because what's today? Monday, he dropped my food Friday.
Okay.
So then I got to start using the creamy yesterday, Sunday. So um, that was my little mishap. Prep brain has set in for sure. I also can't do more than one thing at a time at all.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, no. And I'm like at the point where I'm frustrated with myself when I can't think. So it's like I walk into a room, I'm like, I don't know what I came in here for. And then I walk out of the room and I'm like, oh, I didn't remember what I needed. So I have to go back. And it's like, if I'm trying to do something and you're trying to talk to me, I'm just getting frustrated, annoyed mixture because I'm like, I can't focus on both of these things. But I'm annoyed with myself that I'm annoyed.
It's a lot to unpack. That's
Thank
so
you for coming to my TED Talk. But look at my face.
yes. She said all that
Oh,
is lean.
Botox update. So
Oh
I
yeah.
got it here and under my eye. I don't know
Oh,
if I talked about this on here.
can you yeah, there you go, right there. Perfect. Okay.
I got it here.
Bruising?
Botox.
Did you have any bruising? Because I like this area is so sensitive, so I didn't know if you had like
Oh,
any.
I had like one right here.
Okay,
My girl was like real good with her sticks. Like
perfect.
they didn't even really hurt. And probably it helps that I started with my lips because this area is more sensitive than up here. So like what I was anticipating, it was not. But it's already setting in. Look,
Lovely.
there's still some lines here, but it hasn't even been 7 days. So
Awesome. The life of Alexis. That's what we'll title this Q&A, The Life of Alexis. I will be curious to see if I can eat a full tub of the creamy once I'm dieting down because I can't right now. Like it is just like, ooh, like I don't do well with just high volume anyway. So we'll see. Like once I start getting like down to the nitty gritty if I can handle it.
well, even if you can, then it'll kind of be like 2 meals because you still have to get that protein in.
Right.
Like
Oh
you
yeah,
still have to get it in.
absolutely. Yeah. It's just like
But,
every time I've tried, I'm like, I can't do all of
yeah,
this.
no, in the off season, I didn't even really use the creamy. So like there was at least probably 2 months that I didn't touch it. And then I was like, now I have this appliance that I'm not using, but it's like as soon as I'm hungry and prep, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it. And it's
Yeah.
an everyday, maybe 2 times a day situation.
Yeah, no, Marilla's been using it, but obviously he ain't putting protein powder in his. He's experimenting, doing all these different like sure I don't know, doing his own thing, but we shall see. Let me see. No, I think we had already recorded. No, I haven't. So, I was instructed to enjoy myself because we're about to basically roll. Her words were, "You have your last supper is coming soon. Your days are numbered, so go ahead and get everything in that you want." The dairy, which I can't do dairy like that anyway. So I was like, "All right, cool." Um, I was a little nervous because she's never been like basically I'm about to kill you. So I was like, this is going to be very interesting. But outside of that, nothing going on. I'm in week 6 of my health phase. I feel good. I have energy. I'm sleeping. Training is good. Everything is good. Not much to report back. That's like when you've been in off season, it's just rinse and repeat. There's, you know what I mean? Like your food basically stays the same. Not much has changed outside of, I will say this, last week's check-in was the first check-in where I actually felt like somewhat tighter than what I had been because I just been feeling kind of like, ugh, just sloppy and bloated. So that was a good feeling. But outside of that, that's all I got.
It's about to roll. And then Amber and I will be in prep for a little bit together because
Yes.
I'm, as of yesterday, 5 weeks out from first show of the season, and then we'll do a couple more before I like pull back and then push to the Olympia.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. And my suit should be here in the next like 2 weeks,
Uh huh.
which I'm excited.
Well, speaking of suits, we'll start off with this question because I thought it was a really good question. Let's see, where'd it go? A color you would never wear on stage.
Orange.
Orange. For me, I wouldn't do anything that's like a really, really dark Merlot. That would not look good on my skin tone. Because with suit colors, I think what people fail to realize is it's never your what your favorite color is. And you always want to consider Rocket, please. You always want to consider your skin undertone, but most importantly, your skin's going to be darker. That was something I didn't consider with my very first suit. It was red, which looked fine on my natural skin tone, but then once I got sprayed by protein, which has a red undertone on my skin, it just all washed me out and it didn't pop very well. So keep those things in mind when you're doing suit colors. And I've had a lot of y'all like hit me up asking like I guess because my color nerd brain, what I think about specific suit colors on them. I know Michaela, she had messaged me the other day because she's going to do a new suit color, and I'm excited for her.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Let's see.
Um, I think you also would never do white, would you?
Well,
I was just thinking the contrast would be too much.
I, I think it would have to be, it would depend on what the stones were. It's definitely not one that I'd like, oh yeah, let me do white. Um, I do obviously on darker skin, yes, it could work, but the stones and everything, you would have to make sure that you had some sort of color in the stones or something to just add a little bit more depth and richness to it. Otherwise, it would just it
Like
would
blues or E's.
yeah, for sure, for sure. It could work though, but you would have to be very, very strategic with it.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't mess with it. Uh. Mm-mm. Let's see. Wait. Favorite and least favorite cardio.
Least favorite is stairs. Um, Sometimes I'll use it to like if I'm struggling to get my heart rate up on something else because it will get your heart rate up. But like the output versus recovery balance for me is not there. It trashes my legs, and I want my legs to be good for training, um, and not just trying to recover from climbing the stairs. So that's probably my least favorite for myself. And then, so recently, my favorite has been elliptical, or incline treadmill as long as I can get my heart rate up. I've been struggling to get my heart rate up on bike here at the end of this prep, which is interesting. Um, which you guys know I've done the bike for the last several preps because I had one at home, but I don't know, like this prep's been moving smoother and my body's been responding better. So um I don't know why that's the case. But it's like it's hard. Like I really have to be intentful and really crank the resistance up on the bike and like pay attention. And honestly, this close to show, I don't want to pay attention. So I just want to be able to go and like I'm monitoring my heart rate, but I don't want to have to like force it if there's an
Right.
easier way to get my heart rate into that range, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
So
that
I've been liking elliptical.
yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like, I don't. When I'm doing cardio, I just want to do cardio. I don't want to have to keep checking my watch to see, okay, where's my heart rate at? I'm with you. I absolutely, I don't like the stairs, and it's just specifically for that one reasoning. It's like for someone who already has a hard time recovering, and then doing the steps on top. Rock it in the name of Jesus, please, please. um, it's hard on the body. Does it get the heart rate up? Yes, absolutely, but it's not worth the aches and pains. Like, I already got enough like glitches on my own wear and tear from work, so I'm not trying to add anything else. Ciao, ciao. You got to go. Bye. Love you so much. If you're gonna stay in here, you gotta be quiet. Sorry, y'all. But if I could do either, it would be incline walking, which obviously I can do that right now because I have plenty of body fat on me and I can get my heart rate up pretty easy. I'm not lean. And then I do enjoy the elliptical. I like the elliptical because it's not intense on my body and I can just push, go, get my heart rate up and do what I need.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like with the elliptical is sometimes when you're going for like a decent amount of time, do your feet get numb a little bit because they're like in exactly the same position? I think Olivia has said that that's happened to her too. Like when you're going for like over 30 minutes
Okay.
usually.
I haven't gone over
It's
30.
and it's more like it's really just like one portion of my foot wherever like the constant like pressure is. So then I like kind of readjust my weight distribution and it'll help it a little bit. But it doesn't damage anything. It's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, no, no, that makes sense. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. Best advice you've ever gotten about bodybuilding and non bodybuilding related? That is a really good question. Let's see. For bodybuilding, I mean, it's cliche, but focus on you. Like, legit focus on you. I think that's what a lot, especially newer athletes, bodybuilding is just one of those things where it takes time to learn it and understand it, and then learning and understanding your body as your body is changing, but focusing on you, because I think especially new athletes, they'll start comparing themselves to a pro and they're like, oh well, this person's doing this. I'm like, sweetheart, you're not there. It's like,
Yeah.
this is your first prep and you're comparing yourself to Laura Lee. Like, y'all are not the same. Don't do that.
Yeah. Or like I used to even like compare um to other people competing. You guys know that I've watched the hashtags and like tried to see who's doing what show. But it's like I quickly learned that you don't like how people look on Instagram a lot of the times is not how they look in person. Um, so like that's just driving yourself crazy for no reason. I think probably the bodybuilding advice for me is enjoying the process.
Mm-hmm.
Like and every prep is different, so it's like it's kind of like an ever evolving thing to enjoy the process and like learning to enjoy it and seeing what that means to you.
Yep.
But like for me this prep, it's very interesting. I was thinking about it earlier. It's like I haven't had to focus on that. And you guys know that in the past, if you're an OG listener or you've like binged through the original like leading up to this episode, um I had that's something that I've had like focus on and not getting ahead of myself and all of that. And like this prep, it's been more like I'm here for the right now. And I haven't it's that's not like been in the forefront of my mind. It's just almost kind of become like something I finally trained myself to be better at. So like I don't have to think about every day, like just focus on today. It's just like that's what I'm doing instead.
Yeah. No, that's, oh God, I thought Marilla was home. I was like, why is he so home so early? Sorry. I was like, no. No, that's for sure, for sure. Non bodybuilding related advice for me, it would be definitely don't get so focused on the future and where you're not that you can't appreciate all that you're doing right now in the moment. I know this is something that I struggled with, and being present in the moment, being proud of myself, remembering, just looking at all that I have accomplished because I just feel like, especially for a lot of us who compete, we're high achievers. And I know for me, I would get in the habit of, okay, did that, what's next? And it's kind of like, hold on, it's okay to just sit in this moment, process it, be content with this instead of always looking at, okay, well, what's next, what's next, what's next? Because I know for me, I found myself in this rat race, and it ended up being just very, it wasn't good for my mental and emotional health.
No,
So
it's enjoyable. You're not enjoying anything in life at that point.
right, right, you're not enjoying anything because you're so focused on the next, and it's just kind of like, yo, like we do some really dope cool stuff, like pay attention to that, like sit in that for a moment. That was one thing that I was really proud of myself for. Like after I got my pro card, I wasn't like, okay, what's next? It was just kind of like, wow, this thing that I have been working so hard on for 4 years has finally happened, and I'm gonna sit in this. And honestly, y'all, I'm still sitting in it because I'm very proud of myself because I know all that I went through. So it's so easy, especially when you get your pro card. People say, well, what's next? What's next? And for everyone that would say, what's next? I would say, I'm enjoying my moment.
I think for me, I think like the best advice kind of changes as life changes. Like
Oh, sure.
you're told something, it's the best thing that you've been advised to do, and then like life moves on, and like learn something else, and then it's like if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I'd say something different then than now.
Mhm.
Um, but I think like taking you can't take care of anyone else effectively if you're not taking care of yourself. And that's something that I've been like focusing on more recently is like you guys know that I like to like I'm like the way I show love is like um when you do helpful things for other people, what's
That's
that
your,
word?
yeah, acts of service. That's your love language for sure.
Yeah, yeah. My brain doesn't work.
I got you.
Um so like I love like going out of my way to do things for like my loved ones and my friends and but I got to a point where I was doing that only. Like I wasn't doing anything as much for myself, and it was more like just focusing on the next thing that I had to do, that I had to keep up with, and for like someone else's schedule or someone else's next milestone instead of my own. Um, and so I'm not doing that anymore as much. And it's like a daily learning process. And like when you start focusing on yourself, you realize like habits of yourself that you didn't even know were there. And it's almost like you find this other little box in the corner that was like, oh, I put all those things in there and I forgot about them.
Let me open that. That out real quick.
So do something nice for yourself, guys.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. Pros and cons, strip lashes versus extensions for show day. So this is going to hurt a lot of the lash extension girlies' feelings. I come in peace. I hate lash extensions on show day because they get in the way. Like I can't do what I need to do. Like the eyeshadow falls all over them. You always have some that are falling out, trying to do the liner. It's just they get in the way of what the artist needs to do. And any makeup artist will tell you this, or rather it be for stage glam or for, I know like the bridal makeup artist, they will tell you 100% do not bother with them. I understand lash extensions just for like a day to day lifestyle situation. They are beautiful, but when it comes to the amount of makeup that we wear for stage, it's just hard trying to maneuver around them. And then I don't like putting a strip lash on top of it because I don't know that you guys realize all the effort that your lash tech is taking. She's literally isolating every individual lash and taking lash glue and putting that on your lash. So hopefully you're going to someone who is being mindful of your lash health and they're not putting a lash that's too heavy on your lash. So you already have that. And now you're coming in with another strip, which is going to be more weight on the lash. And now we have that glue going into it. So it's just kind of like that's a lot happening. And I used to say, oh, just wait. Don't, if you're going to have lash extensions, just try to plan your appointments to where you need to fill. But even still, it's like, it just gets gunky in there and it can just, I just don't recommend it. But, and I always tell the girls, hey, if you have lash extensions already, I don't think it's wise for you to get a strip lash on. But they're like, oh, just put it on anyway. And I'm like, okay, have fun with that.
Just don't get them filled right before. Like, take
Yeah,
care of them
yeah, yeah.
after. I just do strip lashes always. I've been tempted because the people who have like I don't know the different language lingo. You guys know that I'm just now taking care of my skin and face, um, but they're like moderate level, I guess, where they're like you look like you have your lashes done a little bit, but they look nice and like they look fine without makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Because the drama eyelashes with no makeup look crazy. I'm gonna say it. I might get canceled, but it looks dumb.
Can't
Stop
believe
getting those spider eyelashes if you're not gonna do your face every day because it looks crazy.
it looks.
And then it's like, then it looks like you obviously have eyelashes done and you were lazy and didn't do your face. Like it's not complimentary if you don't have a whole face on, in my opinion. Um, so I like the moderate ones, like the pretty daily ones.
Classics are
Um, but I've looked into the upkeep of them, and it also looks crazy when you need a fill and you don't have time to get a fill, or they started coming out, or you slept on your belly and you ripped some of them out. That also looks dumb. So I'd rather have complete control of when I have lashes on and when I don't
yes.
than to be reliant on someone else's schedule or around my crazy schedule to get them filled and stuff. No.
That's my thing with them. I'm a low maintenance girl. I don't want anything that's going to be crazy high maintenance. Lashes are high maintenance. You have to get them filled every 2 to 3 weeks. I don't like what sometimes I've had them and I forget and I'll itch my eye and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot I have a lash on my eye. Or like sleeping, I'm a side sleeper, so the corners would always come out. It's just, it's it's a it's a demanding situation. And again, when you have the big lashes and then there's nothing else on your face, you just look insane. You just look insane. It's like, hey girl, where's the rest of your face at? It's just
Yeah.
not my vibe. Oh, this is a good question. Best ways to prep your skin between shows. I have 2 weeks between shows. So 2 weeks between.
So I messaged this girl. So she has been like, she hasn't had to wait 2 weeks to get this response.
Oh, thank
Because when
God.
I saw that, I was like, I don't know if we're like when this question's going to get answered. So I did message her and gave her some tips. But we will go over it for everyone else. So don't think that we're bad guys.
Yeah. 2 weeks is good because I've done shows back to back and I find that that was tricky. That was very tricky for me. Um, Alexis gave me the Liquid Sun Rays Erase It, and that stuff is amazing. It's like almost like a charcoal scrub. Like if you know you have another show coming up, like the following week or 2 weeks, you need to make it your mission to just get as much of it off as you possibly can. Especially if you are someone who is more fair on the lighter skin. Like for me, I can get away with it, but I noticed by the time I was getting ready to do my pro debut, I had all these splotches on my legs because I had already done 2 shows prior to, so it was a challenge.
Yeah. Get the Erase It if you can. Liquid Sun Rays ships it pretty quick. LSRALEXIS to save your money. Um, but otherwise, exfoliate and hydrate. Um, do the same skin prep that you did going into your first show for the second, like that second peak week going into your second show. But in between, like to get the tan off if you don't have Erase It, exfoliate every time you're in the shower. Shaving's going to help too because it's kind of taking that top layer of skin off while you're shaving your hairs off. But then because you're exfoliating so much, you need to hydrate your skin, or you are going to be like a dried up, nasty rag doll when you get your tan on. It won't look good. So, like, moisturize your skin with all that exfoliation. But ultimately, like, the tan is absorbed in like tinting the top layer of skin. So you just got to get it off. You can't undye it.
Yeah, yeah. You just Don't mess around with waiting for exfoliating. That's my main thing with that. This is a this is a good question, but an interesting question because it's not okay. What is chow chow? What is normal when going through prep? That's a loaded question.
Yeah. So I think this is a question that's like hard to answer black and white for sure.
Yeah.
I think a general rule of thumb is there is going to be a level of decreased energy.
Hmm.
For a lot of people, decreased patience, I guess. Um, extreme hunger. And I want to put that in like flashing lights. You are going to be hungry. You should be hungry. If you are not hungry and you're close to show, you're not lean enough, or you've messed up your digestion with too many veggies, or you've just eaten snacks and got rid of the hunger. Um, but like hunger is normal in prep. Absolutely, it's normal in the off season too. You don't really want to lose hunger altogether, and that's a very uncomfortable thing for people to get used to. But it comes with it. If you want to be lean, you want to be hungry. Um,
Your sex drive is going to go. That's not going to be your priority at all. Um, when
a lot
you're
of that has to do with hormones and energy levels. Like your hormones might be quote unquote normal or decent, but you're still going to be low energy. Like your body's source of energy is body fat, and when you don't have any body fat, your body's going to try to slow you down. So it's going to give you cues that you're tired because you are tired,
Mhm.
but it's not going to tell you like, yeah, let's have sex.
Mm. Your energy. This is the hardest thing for me because I can deal with hunger, like whatever. But when your energy just leaves you out of nowhere, and you might be in the middle of work or doing like that's very normal. That is part of it. That's something that you will experience. Um, if it's your first prep, this will be very normal for your first prep. You're just explaining why you have a Tupperware container. That's going to become a normal, annoying, but that's going to become a very normal thing. Constipation, when you start to get really, really lean and you're not having a lot of food going in the tank, your digestion system is going to slow up and you might have a hard time having a bowel movement.
Yeah, and some of these things are like mitigatable to an extent. Like I mean, at 5 weeks out, I used to would have had days where I didn't go to like didn't have a bowel movement, and that would frustrate me because then you do kind of feel bloated. But like up until now, I haven't. But this is the most consistent I've kept my schedule for the most part. Like if I have a crazy early morning, then yes, I will. Like it'll be thrown off. But for the most part, as the more things that you can keep consistent, the less troubles you're going to have. You're still going to be hungry. You're still going to be low energy. Those things are going to happen, but you're also going to have less things to like troubleshoot.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think, is there anything else? No, I mean those are the general like normal things, and like you, once you've done it a few times, like you'll start to find your normal. Like I know for me, once I get closer, like I'm wired but tired, so my sleep kind of goes down. I think that might be something a lot of people experience. Um, I feel like everyone has their own prep markers, like, okay, I know when I see this line, then I'm probably like around this many weeks out. Just like little things like that you start to learn about yourself. That's your normal. Stress management advice and tips. Well, what Alexis just said, I know for like consistency in your schedule. That's something that I've been struggling with. And I went ahead and kind of redid my salon schedule because since I know that prep is coming, so making sure that no matter what, I'm always up. at this specific time. If I'm working in salon, I'm working in salon at this specific time. If I'm going to the gym, going at this specific time, because I know for me, when things are just kind of not consistent, that's going to make my stress go through the roof.
Um, I think one, planning is
Mhm.
going to keep your stress lower, but also remove things from your plate. So, like, this goes for prep or any
Life.
highly like strenuous point in life. Like, if you are changing careers or you are going through something like buying a house or planning a wedding or like big milestones, those things are stressful. So don't like you need to be mindful of what other stressors you're also adding to the plate. So if you're adding like let's say wedding planning, something might have to come off your plate so that you're not overwhelmed. Um a lot of times we're like, "Oh, I'm already doing XYZ, I can add this into." That's usually your problem. Like if you are comfortable doing this, adding something else in is at least going to make you uncomfortable for some time until you figure out how to navigate it all. But a lot of times, adding in something else is what leads to the overwhelming feeling rather than adding in and shifting something off to the side. Like, your plate should be kind of an ever evolving situation rather than like something that you try to pile on to.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's so interesting you say that because that's honestly that's where my mind has been at for the past couple of days, just understanding that all right, some like I need to let go of something else just because like I don't want any additional stress, like control the controllable. So if it means, hey, like I can't do this for you, or it's time to close chapter on that. I don't want to do this because I just refuse, prep or not, I just refuse to be stressed. I've spent too much of my life stressed. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm good on it. So if it means I can't do it in the name of maintaining my mental and emotional stability, then so be it.
Yeah, agreed. It's like I know a stressor for me is worrying about other people and like something that I've been working on like specifically is not worrying about what people think about like what decisions I'm making or like things I'm doing or companies I want to work with like just anything, like I can get so wrapped up in all of that to almost like an obsession. Like that's my first thought is like I want to do this, what will people think about it?
Mhm.
And
And
like
I've told you several times, I'm like, we're not worried about what other people think. Like you'll like, well, what? I'm like, we don't care.
I know. And it's like, that's kind of also minding your own business too. Like, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? Do it or don't and keep
Mhm.
it trucking. And it's so easy to say that, but it's not as
Right.
easy for all of us to do it right out the gate. But like, worry about yourself.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you've been operating like that for so long, you have to practice it, just like everything else in life. Like if you've been doing for others, if you've been people pleasing for so long, you're not just gonna be able to be like, oh, okay, cool, that's it, I'm done. But the first thing is like, I know I need to do this, and then you just gradually start making those small changes. Then next thing you know, it's like, bam, I ain't doing nothing for none of y'all fools no more. Get out of my face. One more. Have you seen people tighten up their skin well? My butt went flat for comp. if your if your butt went flat for comp, you might just need more glute muscle because
Yep.
I think a lot of people get confused that because they have a nice plump butt on a regular basis, it's body fat. We're women. That's cool. Like it does make the butt look good. Once the body fat starts coming off and things are revealed and you start to really see what's going on, you might just need more glute muscle.
Yeah, and that like that's kind of confusing because it's like tighten up your skin, my butt went flat. That makes me think, did you have like skin, like
Yeah.
loose skin on your butt? Because so loose skin, it depends on where it's at and how we assess it. So in an area like your butt, add add muscle there and it will fill the skin out, if that makes sense. Then there's tension on the skin and you don't see the wrinkles. Um, if it's somewhere like your midsection, obviously we don't want to put a bunch of muscle in our midsection. So in general, like the speed in which this happens depends on genetic makeup.
Mhm.
But the more time that there's less tension on the skin, the more that the elasticity will return. So think about like here's your skin, and then you've got fat behind it. So you're stretching it out. And then you lose the fat, the skin doesn't return as quickly. So now it's like it's further stretched out than it was tight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take time for that to slowly come together. So if you're in a situation where it's like you lost a significant amount of weight and now you have this loose skin in your midsection, keep the fat off. The longer that you keep the fat off, the tighter that the skin will become, but it takes time. So, like, we're not talking months, we're talking a year, then 2 years later, you'll notice more difference. It's a long term thing. If it's excess skin, then that's where we get into like skin repair surgeries. But that needs to be excess. That
Yeah,
does not need to be
I had a baby.
a half a centimeter of a wrinkle.
Yeah,
You do not get a tummy tuck with a scar from hip to hip.
right.
Um, if that's what you choose to do, by all means do it. But like in my opinion, if it's minimal excess skin, we can tuck and glue and do what we need to do on show day versus a large surgery and now you have a scar that you can't tuck and glue.
Yeah, I know, and she's a masters competitor. I know for sure. I know it's different for masters competitors. And I know the loose skin is the thing, but it's just kind of like if you just have some loose skin on your midsection because you had a baby, I agree. I don't think you need to be going to get surgery for that. Like when I think of skin repair surgeries, I'm thinking for like someone who was like on my 600-pound life, like because that is like obsessive, and that can really be unsafe.
Now there's products like Vasodrive from MPA supplements, um, and like hydrocortisone cream that people will put on areas like that, like during prep. And those basically work by dehydrating the skin. So it's like you're just getting water out from under like that sub Q layer of skin. So it like temporarily tightens it. But those products don't long term tighten your skin. The only way to really tighten skin that way is to let the elasticity return. And that's, you can't speed that up.
Yeah. And then like things too to think like obviously like once you're in that situation, I get it, but things that you can do like making sure your skin is hydrated. Like that's why like I'm so big on body care, especially like for girls who are maybe younger, 20s, 30s, or if you just happen to have kids yet, is like y'all understand that making sure that you are taking your collagen supplements, making sure that you are putting lotion on, hydrating your skin, using lotion that has aloe, vitamin E, all those things are going to help. Because if you are someone later in life who plans to have kids, if your skin is in prime, I can't tell you you won't have any stretch marks, but that is going to help you later on. So things to think about, like,
Yeah, that's how those body butters work. Like when people start rubbing it all over their belly in pregnancy, it's not like a magic solution, it's just hydration.
yeah, it's a lot of hydration. Let's see. That was it. That was the last question. All right, y'all.
All right.
Thanks
You
for
guys got another 40-minute episode for
yes,
cardio.
yes, yes, yes. Enjoy, enjoy. Let's see. Junior USA is coming up. I'm booked. Slam. Junior Nats, book Alexis for your posing. She's taking on bikini, wellness, and lifestyle athletes. And be on the lookout for her YouTube vlogs.
Yeah, it's all on my phone. I just have to edit it.
She's doing her prep vlog series. I'm always vlogging. My vlogs are random. Y'all see stage glam, prep stuff, me running my mouth, whatever the case may be. But thank y'all so much for listening. We'll chat with you next week.
Bye, guys.